So much for joining us, Bill Gavin. I want to bring in Congressman Peter King, Republican from New York. He's a member of the House Homeland Security Committee and the former chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee. He's also chairman of the House Subcommittee on Counterterrorism and Intelligence. Congressman, do you have any new information indicating that these two suspects are part of some broader threat to the United States? We've been told by a U.S. official, Barbara Starr was told, that there is no indication necessarily that this is part of any larger threat from al-Qaeda. Have you learned anything that contradicts that? Have you learned anything new?
No, Jake, so far there is no indication of that. I know there is a concern about it because there's a question of whether or not these two on their own could have done all that's been done. But the fact is, right now, there's no evidence at all. I know there was some concern about the fact that his older brother took the trip to Russia last year, and there's a question of whether maybe that's when they were radicalized. Because to be honest with you, in all the years I've been doing Homeland Security and getting briefings, I've never heard of the Chechen community in the United States having been radicalized. Now, the question of Muslim radicalization has not involved the Chechen community here. I know they fought alongside al-Qaeda in Afghanistan, but not here in this country. But again, I think we do have to look carefully to make sure there are no other co-conspirators or accomplices, and to find out what happened on that trip to Russia last year.
Congressman, do you have any information about possible travel outside the country by Jahar? We know about his older brother traveling to Russia in 2012. Do you know anything about any other travel by the older brother or any travel outside the country by the man that authorities are looking for so intensely right now?
Jake, I'm not aware of any of that travel, and I don't know of anyone who was onto that. I know that's one of the things being looked at carefully, but my understanding is, as of now, there's no evidence that the younger brother has traveled outside the country at all.
Obviously, events are unfolding, and not everything on the internet is necessarily accurate, but on the older brother's purported YouTube account, and we don't know for 100% sure that it is his, but on what is believed to be his YouTube account, he posted a preaching by a radical named Fez Muhammad, I believe was his name. What do you know about this radical cleric?
I'm not aware of that radical cleric, but I do know that the idea of radical clerics in the Muslim community, again, it's a small percentage, but they've had a disproportionate influence. And I think that is something that has to be looked at, and we can't be politically correct. I think we have to see, has radicalization extended into the Chechen community? Because I said, up till now, there has been absolutely no evidence that I am aware of Chechen Muslims being radicalized. But obviously, something happened to these two, and it's something that has to be really examined and examined fully. And also, I think we have to realize that, earlier in the week, Jake, there was talk, there was no intel, there was no chatter, there was no evidence or indication that this attack was going to come. I think that's because we rely on foreign intel. Fact is, I think it's very difficult for al-Qaeda to carry out attacks from overseas, and we have to be very concerned about radical movements in this country or people in this community, in this country that carry out the attacks, as such we saw as in New York in 2009 and in 2010 by people living in the community. And that's why I think it's important for the police to build up their local police to build up their intelligence to find out what's happening in the communities among disaffected people or people like these two brothers who seem to have everything going for them.
Lastly, Congressman King, I'm told that you've compared what happened here in Boston to what happened in Mumbai. Please explain. I assume I'm correct with that, but if not, then correct me.
No, what I was saying is that my speculation is that I don't think these two ever intended to escape. I think they had so many explosives. They had explosives for the marathon. They had explosives that they had with them today. You don't have a second round of explosives unless you are going to carry out a second wave of attacks. So when they went out today, I don't think it was to escape because they had so much explosives in their vehicle with them. They had heavy-duty weapons. I think they were going to go down fighting. They were going to just go and, again, almost random use of explosives or go to another city. This was not just a one-off as far as attacking the marathon, as bad as that was. They had apparently quite a few other explosives with them, which to me can only be used for a second round of attacks.
All right, Congressman Peter King of New York, Republican, former chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee.